Imagine that a mother has to give her young child away to somebody, a total stranger, who is going to take this child away, far away, and she may never see him again. This is part of what we call modern-day slavery. And slavery exists. It exists now. In the age of wonderment, that is my question, that in the 21st century, why are we allowing slavery to exist? It exists in a big way. There are at least 27 million slaves in this world today. 27 million. That's far more than the slaves that were transported out of Africa over a period of 400 years, east and west. It's the fastest growing organized crime in the world right now. It is even ahead of drugs. Drugs get consumed, and that's done. Human beings are being sold and resold and resold. It fetches $32 billion a year in revenue. The problem with this is it goes under the name of human trafficking. And human trafficking does not do justice to the kind of brutal, dehumanizing things that slavery brings with it.
Do you know that slavery is illegal in every country in the world? In the neighboring country of Mexico, there's been a growing problem of this trafficking of women and girls for the use of sex and prostitution. And a lot of these girls and women have been trafficked into the U.S. Most girls are between the ages of 15 and 19 and are trafficked in usually by someone they know and trust. These girls are pulled in by promises of either a job or by boyfriends who promise them love and a better life. These girls live under constant emotional and physical abuse and constant threats of STDs, pregnancy, or even murder. To give you a better understanding, assume each girl pictured represents 1,000 girls. In a report published in 2006, there was an estimate of 12,513 girls that were trafficked into Mexico from Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Nicaragua. 51,486 girls are from Mexico to be trafficked, to make a total of 63,999 girls. Of these girls, 1,196 are presumed to be dead.
I don't know where I am. They've taken all that I had, smuggled in for a lucrative trade, beaten, bartered, broken in until I obey. I used to be childlike, innocent and safe, but now I'm someone else's treasure, a stranger's pleasure, smothered in shame. Succumb with drugs, but I'm not numb, all I feel is pain. Is this all a dream? Will I ever be the same? Can anyone hear?
Joanna moves her hands nervously as she tells her story of horror and abuse. It all started when she met a charming man.
Estuve 3 meses bien con él, normal.
I was in a normal relationship with him for 3 months, she says. Then he asked her to elope and she agreed.
He promised we would get a house and we would raise children. I was naive and believed everything he said. We started living together in July, and by September, he was already forcing me to work as a prostitute.
She was only 14 years old. Her captor took her to work in 2 different states and then to Mexico City. She says she was forced to have sex with dozens of men for as many as 18 hours a day. If she failed to make at least $600 a day, she faced severe punishment.
Will anyone break these chains?
No me lo acuerdo ya.
Chabelita is a playful child. She can't remember how old she was when she saw her father kill her mother in a remote indigenous town in Guatemala. That was only the beginning of her tragic ordeal.
Me secuestraron.
My uncle kidnapped me when I was 6 and took me to Cancun. Some men would call him up. They paid him to harm me. I tried to escape, so they locked me up in my uncle's room, and in there, they harmed me too. There was a lot of men.
De Cancún.
Mexican authorities believe Chabelita was sexually abused for a period of 2 years before she managed to escape.
Me llevaron a un lugar que que ya está lleno de piedras.
They took me to a place where there were a lot of stones. I took one and hit the man that was touching me. I kicked him and ran. I walked for many days without eating.
Los golpeé.
Only then police rescued her and brought her to this safe house last December, where she joined other victims, most of them children. Chabelita's case is just one of nearly 20,000 children and women who are victims of human trafficking every year in Mexico. Many end up here in the red light districts of the capital, Mexico City, in popular tourist destinations like Cancun or Acapulco, or confined to brothels in border towns like Tijuana or Ciudad Juárez before some are smuggled across the border. The U.S. State Department says Mexico is the origin, the transit country and final destination of most trafficking victims. 70% of them are women. Nearly half are children, seen as highly valued commodities for traffickers who force them to service between 10 and 40 clients each day. According to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes, Mexico has become the #1 provider of sexual slaves in Latin America.
In Mexico, impunity is rampant. Organized groups and opportunists lie to their victims, telling them they'll live a life of riches and then exploit them, making roughly between $150 to $250 every day. They exploit human beings to obtain economic benefits, turning human beings into slaves.
I'm just a beautiful slave. My worst fear is my fate. I'm getting older each day. Every girl too old in years mysteriously just disappears. They never mention her name. They take away piece by piece. I don't think I have any left. I've slowly given up all hope, given into this sleepless bed.
How many people have you managed to convict of human trafficking in Mexico?
One.